Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Today, Coach Gu, new stick. What new stick is Coach Gu using now? Stay tuned. Okay, as you guys know, racket journeys are always continuous, as I like to put it. We're always searching for Excalibur. We're always searching for the Fountain of Youth. So we all King Arthur and Ponce de Leon, but on the racket side. Coach Gu is no different. So we're actually going to be talking about Coach Gu's latest foray into his newest racket. As you guys know, just from us shooting for the last year and a half, he went into the Yonex VCORE 95, the all red version. That was out last year and then was just replaced maybe 8 months ago. Coach Gu loved that red racket, but once they added that blue and thinned out that top of it, it didn't quite feel the same. Coach Gu, what happened in that alteration, that change in there?
I felt like it definitely lost all of that shiftness of the weight from the grip to the head. It just didn't feel as solid as I remembered. It felt like it would only go through from the grip to the kind of the throat of the racket. So I felt like I lost a lot of the feel of the shifting of that transition of the weight with contact on the ball. And we tried to weight it up. I think we both tried to weight it up.
We tried everything.
We basically experimented almost 3 months straight. And I've been going back and forth with the old 95 and the new 95. And yet we couldn't really come up to a conclusion. I think that new technology, the VDM, so dampening mesh, made it a little more muted, in my opinion. And that's why afterwards I kind of started to search for other rackets. I wish they still made the 95 the way that that racket I used before, but times change. People like different things, and it's okay to like different things. It's totally fine. So I started to go back to that racket journey again and finding a new stick. And this is where we started now. Now is the video for it.
Right. So when we took that new 95 with the blue in it, my first instinct was, since they thinned out the top of the racket, the beam of it, I said, well, let's add some lead to 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock,
which is the sweet spots,
right? Which is right at the top, which is where you should get that extra weight right at the end to plow through the ball. It didn't help.
It actually still felt the same, which is very shocking to me.
I put it I doubled layered at 12 o'clock, basically from 11 to 1, just to double layered the lead, just to see if we can just feel the mass there. And I kind of countered it at the 4 and the 8 spots, and it still wouldn't shift the right way. It wouldn't hammer the ball in the right way. So
I just didn't have that same feel at all. It definitely just felt muted.
Lost a lot. I don't know what happened in the frame, but it lost a lot. So Coach Gu had to go play a match as he plays for our USTA, kind of an open team here. And I saw him one day with an old blade from his Santa Clara days, which wasn't that long ago, maybe 2-3 years ago. And I'm like, what are you doing with that blade? And what did you say to me?
It was basically the most comforting stick I can go back to, because that's the racket that was the first blade I ever played with, and I loved it because it had that flex that it had, just like the 95. It was just a bigger sweet spot, and it was just easier power to access. So that was the most comforting feeling. I didn't play with my countervail version, actually. That one was, I just felt like it was just muted. It just like didn't feel that great, but I just stuck with basically the old, was it version?
Was it 5 or 6?
I think it was five.
Yeah.
Version 6 was countervail, so version 5, and that was the last of the BLX series.
Right.
That was my favorite one, and I stick with that one.
So
I had one left basically of that.
Right. So he won his match with it, and they were like, "Oh, it felt like home." So Coach Goo basically found a security blanket, and decided to suck his thumb and hold it again. Hold it tight.
Wow,
So
you don't have to go that way.
Damn. Security blankets. We all got them in one way or another. Teddy bear. Anyways, so after that, we started experimenting with other rackets.
Yeah.
And there happened to be a Blade Pro lying around from Coach Pablo.
Yeah.
And he starts swinging that thing around. And what did you say to me about that racket?
I was like, this felt like home again. It felt like the old Blade. The beam, I noticed it was a lot. It definitely felt, the frame overall felt way more solid compared to my version of version 5. So you can tell actually it is thicker. It is thicker compared to the other blades I've used, but it felt solid. That was the one thing I was super shocked with. It felt solid. I could actually get around more with the ball. Usually with the blades, if you're a blade player, if you hit it a little bit outside the sweet spot, it feels very awkward. It doesn't feel like you get a solid contact, so you kind of like have to like maneuver it or kind of like shift your wrist, or basically you kind of need more hands to get around the ball. But like with this racket, it felt like I could actually get around with the ball easier. It did have that sweet spot that the old blades always had. And honestly, it just felt solid. That was the biggest thing. It was solid. It wasn't stiff enough like this Pro Staff, but it was solid enough that I can get easy power, and it just went through the ball easier.
All right. Just in case you guys don't know, the Blade Pro comes in a couple of different string patterns. Coach Goo is using the 16x19.
That's the only one I've been using. So the transition from the 1619 of the regular version 5, same thing to this one.
Right. So this is what they call pro stock. This was meant for only pros. I used to string a ton of these when I strung for the pros. So I was actually familiar with the frame itself. I never had access to hit one of these. I was only able to string them until the early part of this year when Wilson released these to everybody to buy. But it only came from Wilson.
It only came from Wilson. You could not find it anywhere else really, unless it was basically like resale.
Right.
But it was expensive. It was super high.
So they finally let us use it and buy it, but it has to come directly from Wilson. Yeah. So we did a review on this, and we actually liked it a lot.
I think I was part of that review, and I said I actually really loved it because it reminded me of the old blades that I ever played with. Right,
but they were hard to get.
Yeah, they didn't have. It's very hard to get these because like everyone was trying to get their hands on these. If you're a blade player, like everyone tried to get the pro blade. So
just to show you though, look at how open that string pattern is.
It's open.
It's not like a regular blade that you can find off the shelf.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, when I was stringing this racket, when the players would bring me 3 or 4 of these, I was like, this came in many paint forms, not in blade, but it came in a burn look, it came in a Pro Staff look.
I think Ultra too.
It came in an Ultra look. Yeah. The frame was the frame, but the string pattern and the racket was
basically the same.
this.
Yeah, it's basically the same. I forgot what they called it. I think I read it on a blog somewhere. It's like the H22.
H22.
H22 model.
H22. Yeah. Yep. So they H22'd it, but put different paints on it to promote the various lines of rackets. But we did a review on this, and we'll try to link that on the bottom.
Yeah, definitely.
But just to after Coach Gu got this racket, he got it in a 4 1/4 because the grip is a little on the generous side.
It's generous. Like now, all modern rackets, they're very generous, especially Babolat's, I've noticed, and Yonex.
Mm-hmm.
They're really generous. So that's why before I used to play, I think in that version 5 I had, it was a true 4 1/4, and that was definitely a lot smaller than this.
Right.
So like that's why I stayed with the quarter, because it is a lot more generous. But if you want a thicker grip, I mean, try the 4 3/8, but I feel like you're just pushing it at that point. But I would say stick if you want a 4 1/4. It's, in my opinion, it's enough, really.
Right. So this racket stock form is 305. 10.8. So there's a lot of room to customize. And within like a week or two, Coach Gu already said it's too light. Let's mess with it. So the first thing we did was we put strips, right here. A good amount of strips right here.
I think that's
and right here.
A good solid, was it 6?
Around 6, somewhere in there. And then we did the VT Advantex dampening strips at the top here.
Shout out to VT Advantech. Thank you.
So this one, is this the preferred one?
This is the preferred one, and it has the tungsten putty. I put some on the
counterweight. Yep.
Counterweighted. So this is basically almost twice the amount of the original weight. So basically, it's like I just basically
we're at 12 ounces.
Yeah, we're at 12 ounces. So basically, it's like, so it's like, in my opinion, I'm preferring this style. We're still experimenting with it still. I have another racket that's only at 3 to 9, and then the putty's on the bottom. I think it's a little thicker. It's probably another 2 extra grams, I think.
So here's that's the other one that I decided to mess with for him. So
and I actually don't mind that either. It actually felt pretty good.
Oh, you cut some off.
Actually, no. You know who cut it?
Who?
Juan, huh?
Oh man,
because he said it was too heavy.
Oh god. So I originally said add it all to the gray part.
It actually felt pretty good.
Yeah. So I added like full lead to the gray part, the whole gray part.
And I was actually thinking of trying. I actually like that, and I was actually going to plan to do the same thing as like the 4, like whatever, like about 4 grams worth of VT Advantech out there, and see how that feels. Because it's like I'm starting to get used to this weight now. Right. I want to see if I can weight it up a bit more and see how it feels.
And we puttied this on the bottom.
Yeah. So basically, it's the same thing on this racket, except we just put more at 3 and 9, and we remove 12.
Right, you got it. Like when I hit with his racket that one time a week ago,
you actually preferred.
I like this one, actually, because well, I mean, you hit such a fast ball that it's easier for me to get around it when we eliminated the weight off the top, so it made the head faster. So I preferred the weight
there
and the lead just here.
Yeah, this for me is just I liked a little bit on the head, is so I could feel my wrist.
Well, the whip.
The whip of the racket just going through more. So like when I had the swing around, especially on the run, the corner balls, I could feel my head move with it too. So that's why I put it at 12. And this is still where I prefer spec. I'm trying to play around maybe a little bit more at 3 and 9, like this one. See how it would feel. But right now I'm enjoying this. This is basically almost the same specs as my VCORE 95, except I have the putty on the bottom.
Exactly. So, racket journeys are never over. We're going to keep tinkering with this, and we'll see where we land at the end of the year.
I feel like I'm most likely going to stay with this racket. I feel it's the most secure racket I've used for a while, especially in the blade family. It is one of the best blades I've used. I wish I had the K-Factor blade, but I mean, this is a good replacement for my countervail for sure.
I didn't tell you. K-Factors are coming back in January.
Oh.
No, just kidding.
Damn it. You little tease.
All
Of
right.
course you would.
Want to thank Coach Gu for sharing his racket journey that never ends with us, but talking about his new
it's better than Chris.
Wilson Pro. Well, we're going to talk about Chris when he gets back a little bit more.
Let's see if he says he wants to switch over again.
Oh, he's going to switch all the time. Coach Gu, where can we find you?
You can find me at ag.tennis. I'll also be posting content there as well.
All right. Thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.